If you don't want to waste hours and hours looking for your first profitable product to sell on Amazon, this video is for you. Because I don't know about you, but when I first started selling on Amazon, finding that first product felt super difficult. It literally took me a couple weeks to find that first product because I didn't know what I'm about to break down for you in this video. Because today I made a detailed 4-page guide that we're going to be breaking down step by step together so that by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to source your first $10,000 in products to sell on Amazon. And just in case you're brand new to the channel, my name's Warner Fields. I've been selling on Amazon for about 6 years now, and I stumbled into selling on Amazon after trying a bunch of different side hustles that just didn't work or were an outright scam. And since I started back in 2018, I've been able to sell over $5 million on the platform, all selling name brand products that people are already buying, no advertising, marketing, or product creation required. So if making money online on your own time sounds fun, let's go ahead and jump into it. All the tools, all the step-by-step info you need, let's get into it, right? So I want to start just by showing you that we're going to be looking at this specific document that I made for you guys. I'll leave a link for this down below if you want to download it after you watch the video, but I'm going to walk through the full step-by-step process of actually getting set up to start selling products on Amazon. And where that really starts is getting ungated, right? So before we start talking about name brand products and what we can actually sell on Amazon, it's important to address the ungating process, basically getting approvals to sell these big popular brands on Amazon, because a lot of people don't talk about it. And especially when I started, everyone was gatekeeping this secret until we started talking about it. So I want to make sure that ungating isn't holding you back, right? So before you sell any name brand products on Amazon, they're basically going to need to see that you can buy at least 10 units from a legitimate wholesaler or retail store. So for example, let's head over to target.com, which is a website that's been working pretty well recently to get ungated to sell pretty much whatever brand you want. And let's say you want to sell something like Fisher Price toys. Or at least when I'm recording this, we're about to head into the holiday season and there's going to be a lot of demand, a lot of opportunity in this, right? So if you're trying to get ungated in any of these big brands, you can buy 10 units from a big major retail website. You can also look at wholesalers, and I'll break down a couple specific names that you can borrow there. One thing that you might want to do when you're looking to get ungated to sell certain brands, first off, it's ideal if you can just find something that's profitable, and I'll show you the step-by-step process on that. But if not, and you're just wanting to unlock a certain brand, what you can do is you can just go in, and most websites will let you filter by whatever's like the cheapest products. So for example, if we wanted to sell Fisher Price branded items, we could see something like this. It is $5 at target.com. And then once you've found a relatively cheap item in a brand that you want to sell, you can just go ahead and take that title, go over to Amazon, and what you're going to want to do is go up into the top left, say catalog, add products right there, and then just go ahead and paste that title right there. In this example, you can see there's that exact same product that we were already looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and press apply to sell here. And that's basically going to say that I need to request approval to sell Fisher Price branded items. And so what I can do now is I can say that I have a purchase invoice from a manufacturer or distributor. I'm going to go ahead and check all of these boxes right here. And then after I go ahead and buy 10 units from Target here in this case, you'll get a nice order confirmation email. Go ahead and download that as a PDF, submit it right here where it says select files, and you'll usually get a response within 24 hours or so. If you ever get any denials or anything like that, it's a good idea to add updates as it comes where it says, hey, your order shipped. Amazon, sometimes they want to see that you're actually buying the stuff. You can prove that, maybe you even take a picture of the item when it shows up at your door. You prove that, hey, here's the UPS tracking information. They did actually ship it. You can submit all that type of information if Amazon gives you any trouble. And for the most part, as I'm going through and trying to actually ungate products, I'm usually just buying something that I've already found profitably, like I was talking about. And in this video, we're going to be stumbling into some profitable items that you could just buy 10 of those and submit that invoice. Since you've already made some profit on it, there's no reason to take a loss if you can find something profitable already, basically. So for the most part, big major websites are going to be really good for getting ungated. A couple different websites that I've used pretty successfully to get ungated right there. Again, you guys can download this guide if you want to see all this kind of stuff. You can also buy directly from distributors. So sometimes Amazon might like the distributor invoices a little bit better. They just tend to format it in a way that Amazon likes. And so one that's pretty popular that you might hear other people talking about is wholesalers like Frontier Co-op. This is personally how I got ungated to sell brands like Burt's Bees, obviously very popular. And as you're actually ungating products, you can submit 10 units of Burt's Bees, for example, and that would get you ungated in the beauty category as well as the brand Burt's Bees. And if you're looking for like more name brand toy type stuff, you can check out distributors like this. You can get like Star Wars, all that kind of stuff through those distributors there. And then like I was talking about, you might get denied on some of these applications here. I like to open a new case whenever I get any denials, that kind of thing. And just in case whoever's looking at your invoices is really having a bad day when it comes to ungating, if I submit like 10 or 11 times, I might just go ahead and get a new invoice. Obviously, since something like this, you can usually get a new invoice for 40 or 50 bucks. Obviously, the ideal situation is that you're buying profitable products and you're making money doing that. And so with all that in mind, that's the housekeeping in order. I always get a ton of questions like, oh, but I can't ungate it to sell these name brands if I don't mention that. So now you know how to get over that common hurdle that holds back a ton ton of new Amazon sellers. And let's go ahead and get into actually like the sourcing process of selling on Amazon, right? So to actually go ahead and start finding products, I want to introduce you to two different softwares. So the first one is going to be SellerAmp, and this is basically going to allow us to actually source products, figure out what our profit is, lots of other stuff that we'll be breaking down. And then the other tool that you'll need, so you need about 20 bucks a month for both of these tools. This one is called the Keepa, and basically it embeds a lot of data on the Amazon page that we'll be using to basically figure out if the item is good or not. So it's about 40 bucks a month for all the product research software that you'll need. And so once we have all that in mind, the best way to start finding profitable items is to look at brands that maybe have some kind of coupon going on. So for example, today I'm going to check out like a cosmetics brand with you guys, because I noticed when I was poking around earlier this morning, checking out some websites who has sales going on, that kind of stuff, I noticed that I can get a 15% off coupon on this specific brand, right? So that gives me an extra opportunity for me to go in and start finding this brand of items on Amazon where that coupon might make the difference between it being profitable and not profitable, basically. So let's just go ahead and head over to Amazon here. And it doesn't really matter what we first start looking up here on Amazon, because all we're trying to do is find just one specific product that is in this brand that we know is on sale today. So if you're not sure where to start, literally just start opening up some websites that you've heard of before. I'll introduce you to a couple that I like to check, something like a VitaCost, or even websites like Walgreens. You can also check out sales at websites like Kohl's. Really, any major retailer tends to be where I buy the majority of my inventory. A lot of people have a misconception that big Amazon sellers are buying from a bunch of secret websites, that kind of stuff, when really it's just the big major retailers that you've probably heard of before, big popular cosmetics brands like this one here. So what I want to do now is, now that we've identified anything that's on sale today, and again, this part of the process is going to be the most time consuming. This is where most people get stuck, just because finding that first product can take a little bit of legwork, right? But I want to make that as simple as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to SellerAmp, and this is where that tool starts to come into play here. I want to go ahead and open up pretty much any of the other storefronts that already sell this brand that we know is on sale today. So basically what I'm trying to do is shortcut the process of figuring out which of these products actually sell on Amazon by looking directly at someone who's already done the work for us. And in this case, it looks like they sell a lot of that brand too. So we can go ahead and click that and just specifically zero in on this brand that we know we have some good coupons and that kind of stuff on today. And so let's go ahead and start checking it out and see if the pricing is good enough at our source website. So I'm just going to open up these first three listings here. If you hit that Google button right there, it's going to go ahead and search that product title for you. So you can see it just popped the whole thing in there. I'm going to go ahead and open up the source website here. And let's see, what was it called? We were looking for the Total Finish Compact Makeup. The search is being a little bit weird there. So let's just go ahead and pop that into the website. So Total Finish, I think these might be 28 bucks or so. Yeah, and we need to buy these for $19.45 to be profitable, basically. So let's go ahead and check this out real quick. I think this is actually the item that we came from, and we can see, obviously doing some quick napkin math, it's probably not going to be super profitable. But in this case, since we're getting 15% off, I can do $28 times 0.85 because it's 85% of the regular price. We're going to be paying $23 for this. So I'm not really in the business of making 7% profit margins. We could make $2.50 selling this item right there, but that immediately tells me that we're somewhat close to finding some profitable products on this website here. A lot of times when I look at a website, I might say that at that sale price, you're going to lose $5, and you just check a few items and it's just nothing's even close. That's where I like to move on to a new brand. The fact that right away we're actually making profit, just not enough, is a really good sign that I want to dig in deeper on this website, basically, right? So let's go ahead and check out this one and then that one as well. So we're looking for the finishing powder right here. We're looking for, what is that, a 3-ounce jar. And then I might also just go ahead and copy that right there, just in case we need to search the website. So sheer face powder that we're looking at. Not a makeup expert by any means, just enough from selling a lot of makeup on Amazon. That's another good thing. If you're personally passionate about specific categories, maybe you played basketball and shoes and that kind of stuff, or you're really into makeup products, that kind of thing, like the best brands, the stuff that people like to buy, you've probably found some ways to get it cheap for yourself, and that can really translate well to running a business. Let's see. So this finishing powder right here, it's 3 ounces. This right here, so it's 2.8 ounces. I was hopeful that we'd have a good profitable product there. So I think they must have changed the packaging up a little bit. So we probably have some unhappy customers. Unfortunately, that would be an $8 profit if that was not the case. Also looks like, so yeah, just because the customer's expecting 3 ounces, if they're looking really closely here, we'd probably have to go ahead and pass. I might just go ahead and, do a quick double check, see if there's like a different version of it maybe, but sometimes they update the packaging and that kind of thing. In this case, it might be a little bit of shrinkflation, that kind of thing, where they're charging the same price for a little bit less of the product, but that one's close, not quite. Let's see if this one we can get any hits on. So let's say we're looking for 11 ounces of this cream right here, and this seems pretty promising right away. So let's check this out. So yeah, we're buying these for 30 bucks. We've got that nice 15% off coupon code. So assuming these are in stock and everything, yeah, we can add them to bag and all that good stuff. Let's make sure. And it looks like we can also add as many as we want there. So like up to 8 there, it's letting us add. That's always a good sign. We're buying these for 30 bucks. Plus we also have that coupon code. So we're getting these for 25 bucks a pop. So yeah, this is a pretty decent item here, right? So 72 sales per month on this. It is an $11 profit. Let's see how much competition we have is always good to see. So we can check and see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sellers at that price that we want to sell it at. Maybe 2 more that Amazon might consider competitive. So we could sell at least 10 to 15 of these every single month. So 10 or 15, that's an extra $100 a month in your pocket. So not too bad at all. I can also see that down here on the buy box analysis, this is showing me basically over time what percent of the last 90 days has a specific seller been the seller in the add to cart button, where the vast majority of sales on Amazon go through. So I can see lots of nice natural sales being shared here. Lots of opportunity for even small sellers. I'm seeing some sellers that they don't even have any feedback. Some of these stores have like a couple. You can see literally 2 ratings right there. So if you're a brand new store, you can definitely hop on this and make some sales. So yeah, probably a good thing to test out. Something like this, you could buy 10 or 15 units, and hopefully that process makes sense. That's called reverse sourcing, where we're basically looking at the work that other people have already done to find specifically profitable items in a brand we can basically find a sale on. And if you want to see me find more live products after this video, you can go keep watching some of the product research videos here on the channel. But I want to dive into some more kind of pro tips with you guys. This is going to be some stuff that really helped me shortcut my growth as an Amazon seller. So one big thing is, as you're looking through these storefronts, pay close attention to this max cost option. This is basically showing you like, hey, if you can get this item for $16 or less, then you're going to be hitting your ideal ROI. So for me, I like to make at least 35% ROI on my items. The more you look at certain products, especially in certain brands or certain categories, you're going to know when a price is reasonable. So like looking at this, I've personally never sourced this brand too much before, so I don't know if $16 is a reasonable price for that item. So it seems like it might be what, like 23, plus we can get a coupon. So it'll probably be like somewhat close based on just a quick little eyeball on that. And that's the part of the process that takes reps, just takes getting some practice in. As soon as you're able to quickly answer if for that specific type of product, if that cost is reasonable, then I'm going to go ahead and Google it. The real art in finding a ton of products to sell on Amazon is skipping past the bad ones as fast as possible, because good products should be obvious, right? Plugging in a coupon, I make 10 bucks profit, that kind of thing. But the real challenge is skipping past the majority of the products that just probably aren't going to be really worth selling right now. So pay close attention to that max cost option. You'll get really good over time at figuring out like how much stuff on the shelf at a retail store might cost. It's just like one of those funny skills that you'll build. Like is written on here, that's the sourcing muscle that you need to develop and work on every day. A couple other major pro tips you can look at when we're looking through the actual storefront here. See if we can find a quick example of any of these red flags here. But anytime you see like a price rapidly decreasing lately, I usually like to skip that. So none of these are a great example. Honestly, you can see like the price has been pretty stable, pretty high recently. Same thing there. The reason why, yeah, something like this is a good example, right? The reason why when I see a product where the price has recently dropped down, that tells me that at least reasonably that old higher price was probably the profitable price point. Ton of sellers saw the opportunity for whatever reason, and then the price dropped down to numbers that aren't quite as profitable, right? So that's just like one of those quick things that I've learned from looking at a lot of storefronts there that should help you out. I also like to skip products where Amazon is on the listing a ton. So we're actually not running into that too much with this specific brand here. We could see if there's any examples. So yeah, they're really good at avoiding competing with Amazon, because what we would see is a really big orange highlighted option on there. None of these listings are sold by Amazon, and we want to avoid those just because Amazon tends to hog the vast majority of the sales on the listing they're on. And so like we were looking at with the buy box statistics, where it basically how much of this item can I sell as a new seller, you're not really going to be able to share sales with Amazon themselves super often. So you want to avoid listings that Amazon is on. That honestly is a good segue into this next stuff that I want to start talking about. And I know I get a lot of questions specifically about criteria to look for, how much profit should I be making? So let's just go ahead and do a quick lightning round here. As far as finding profitable products, I like to look for at least $3 profit minimum. We already talked about a 35% ROI. We want to avoid listings where Amazon is on the listing. So you'll see what I mean. Let me just pull up, like they sell a lot of Lego listings. So I'll basically show you what that looks like. So like right down here on the Keepa chart, you see how it's like super highlighted, very orange right there. Up on the top, that's showing me the buy box rotation. And you can see that there's literally no one else that's been able to make sales on here. We'll see the same thing here, where 100% of the sales are going to Amazon basically. So that's why you want to avoid listings where Amazon is on the product. I'm usually always going to look for at least 30 sales per month on the products that I want to sell. So something like this product that we found profitably, it sells 72 times a month and it's pretty solid ROI. So this would definitely be something I'd be all over. Sometimes you might see 10, 20 sales a month. That's just not really enough for me to be interested in wanting to manage another item personally. Some people like to buy those really slow selling items if the profit's really good. And it's your business, but that's just that's what I like to do. You also really want to look for consistent pricing on those Keep charts there. So for example, on an item like this one right here, just opened it up from that storefront we were looking at, you can see how the price has stayed relatively stable over the last 90 days here. We can zoom out to the year, and it seems like maybe it was a little bit more expensive expensive in the past. The big thing you want to avoid is buying items where it looks like this, right? Where the price today is $12 and for the last months, the price was $9 and you wouldn't be profitable at that price point. So just make sure you're buying stuff that is consistently profitable. That's where a lot of beginners go wrong and they buy stuff that ends up dropping in price and dropping in profit. Another good thing to look out for is IP complaints. So as a brand owner, if the brand doesn't want you selling on that listing, they're well within their rights to go ahead and kick you off. What you want to look for is on the SellerAmp alerts panel, you can see how it says IP analysis, no known IP issues. If it says that, it's usually going to be a fairly safe thing to go for. If it does say IP on there, what I'm going to look for is down here on the Keepa chart. If I see any time in history where a ton of people got kicked off the listing all at once, so we're not going to see anything like that on this because it's not an IP complaining product. You might even see examples like this where a ton of new sellers drop off all at once, basically. But what you'd really want to avoid, if it's say back here, it was 20 sellers right here, and then the next day it dropped down to 2 sellers, and it was just the seller count fell off a cliff, right? That would show me that the brand started monitoring that listing and they wanted to kick off resellers of that listing. So that's just like one of those things to look out for. Make sure your product isn't meltable. That's just like a random small thing, but you might run into that. Again, it would show up on the alerts panel right here, and you want to avoid that at least if it is the summer months, because you can't ship those products into Amazon FBA. It's also a good idea to include whatever sales tax you're paying, prep fees, all that kind of stuff. So like when we're looking at products, I always bake in $1 per unit for my prep center to do the work of actually shipping those products to Amazon FBA for me, where that's actually going to be able to sell. If you're shipping it to yourself in a state with sales tax, you'd want to include that. And then another good thing to include is going to be your shipping costs, which you can actually include in your SellerAmp settings. So you never forget to include that type of stuff. And if you do want to do that's just going to be on your SellerAmp account. You just go settings right there. And then we'll scroll down here to inbound shipping and we'll just add like a nice 60 cents per pound there, that kind of thing. That is the typical rate that at least I tend to pay for shipping to Amazon. 60 to 80 cents a pound is going to be somewhat realistic. Shipping from the store should be free, but if not, make sure you include that. And then also look out to make sure it's not like a dangerous goods product or hazmat. You'll see that with some aerosol cans, think ant killer, that kind of stuff. And again, when you're looking at the alerts panel right here, it'll tell you if that product is dangerous goods or not. So a lot of the information you're going to want to look out for is going to be basically right there on the SellerAmp alerts panel. And then the other good thing that I like to look out for is that the number of new sellers on the Keepa chart isn't like rapidly spiking up. So sometimes if you're looking at a product, something like this, right? So if we're looking at a product like this, where you can see that seller count has consistently gone up, it went up through May. A lot of times after you see that seller count rise, then what follows is the price continues to drop, right? Simple supply and demand, simple economics, going back to middle school a little bit there. Just look out for those products where the seller count is rapidly increasing. That tends to mean that the price is going to drop relatively soon. And that's where I see a lot of beginners go in and buy products that ends up not shaking out so well for them. So now that you know how to find those items and some red flags, what to look for in these good products here, let's go ahead and break down how we can actually quickly make some sales on this product. And what you're going to want to do is go ahead and ship these products into Amazon FBA. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly walk you through that process. So what we're going to do is, we found this item profitably. So let's go ahead and send some of these into Amazon, because basically once we get these shipped into Amazon, it's going to take anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks typically for them to receive it. They'll mark it as in stock in your Amazon store. And then as soon as a customer goes online and they're looking at this Amazon page right here, your store is going to start rotating through this buy box, add to cart button right here. And then that's how you start making sales on Amazon, basically. To get that process all set up, let's go ahead and take our ASIN right there. It's basically like a unique kind of, treat it like a UPC, but it's specific to Amazon, more or less. And then we want to go ahead and head over to Boxum, which is the last software that you'll need to go ahead and start making some money on Amazon. Because what Boxum does is it's basically going to track all your profits. It shows you how much revenue you're making. And as we're listing these products here, we can start storing what we're actually paying. So you're not keeping super complicated Google Sheets and that kind of stuff on your cost of goods and that good stuff. It'll just show you day by day based on what you've sold, what you're actually going to make in profit. And let's go through the process of just going ahead and shipping this into Amazon, just so you can see how it works, basically. So just going to run like a quick test shipment here. A really good thing to take advantage of, I did not know that how good this was as an early Amazon seller. So please do this, is using 2D barcodes. So you actually have to use a software. Amazon Seller Central does not give you any way to create these 2D barcodes. But basically what they do is they just generate an extra barcode label at the bottom of the labels that will generate through this process here. And when this box shows up at Amazon with this 2D barcode label on the bottom, Amazon's gonna be able to scan that, more easily see what's in the box. And for me, what that has led to is making sales on my Amazon listings about 5 days faster than before. And that's a really good thing because it requires zero extra work to get these 2D barcodes generated. We just have to use Boxum here in this case. A couple other things going to be valuable for you to take advantage of is like auto creating the list price. So list the price well above what it's actually selling for, so that when it starts selling, you're at maximum profit. You're not shipping it in, the price goes up, you accidentally sell out at the old price and you could have missed out and you could have made a lot more profit, basically, right? It's also good to store like your buy cost, supplier, date purchase, all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and create that shipment there. We're going to go ahead and ship some of this item that we just found profitably there. We're going to go ahead and again, we'll list it above that buy box price here. Our buy cost on this item was $25.50, $25.50. Let's say we bought 10 of those just to test out, and we want to put 10 in each case. Cases is a good way to avoid having Amazon send it to a million different destinations. Through this process, we're basically going to say, hey, Amazon, here's all the products that I want to send in. Tell me what warehouses to ship it to. And when you use case packed right here, it's saying, hey, I already have 10 of these already in a box. Basically, don't separate these apart. So if you don't know why that's valuable, that's fine. Just trust me on that. It's a good thing to help you out. Let's go ahead and just add like a testing supplier in there. And then down here, we can also add, we bought it today. And you'll also notice that auto creates a SKU for you. So it's going to store a bunch of information about that product in the SKU. So as you're managing it later on, you're trying to change prices around, that kind of stuff. What supplier you bought it from, what the price was the day you sent it in. So it basically gives you a lot of information. So I've had this item in stock for 3 months. I still haven't made any sales on it. I should probably lower the price. Paid 25 bucks. I can probably put it at 45 or something like that and still make a little bit of profit. That's how the logic works there, basically. For makeup, that kind of thing, you probably have an expiration date. Just for the sake of example, add one like a year out here. And then we just go ahead and add that product to the batch. And you just repeat that process for as many products as you have. You can do one product. You could do 1,000 products if you have that many, right? Let's go ahead and continue on though. And this is where we're basically going to say, hey, Amazon, I've got a full shipment created here. I've got 10 of these. Where do you want me to basically send this product? So in this case, it wants us to send them to the warehouse in California. Go ahead and confirm that shipment right there. And what we need to do now is prepare this product for it to be ready for sale at Amazon. So what I usually do is go ahead and use the bulk assign option here. We're going to go ahead and put 10 of those in that box that we already have here. And these are going to be a little less than a pound or something like that. So we'll say that this box is 8 pounds and it's 12 by 12, right? Obviously you'd be using like a shipping scale, that kind of thing. And then the other thing you need for this process is these little labels right here. Boxum's going to print these out for you, but they're called FN SKU labels. And we're going to take these labels and cover over the barcode of the existing product that you want to send in. Just because when that product shows up at Amazon, you don't want them to scan the barcode. You want them to scan your custom FN SKU labels so that when it sells, when it checks in, they know that, hey, that's Sally's inventory. She sent it in. Let's give her the credit for the sale. Make sure it actually checked in, that kind of stuff, right? So let's go ahead and save and print right there. And then as you're actually filling up each of these boxes here through the process, it will print out those FN SKU labels. We can also go ahead and print out our box labels right there. And basically this is what it just generated for me. It says, here's where you want to ship from. There's where you're shipping to, our box number, and then that 2D barcode that's going to help us make some sales on Amazon faster. So repeat that same process. You can make another box down here. You can use the bulk assign to create new boxes, whatever you like using for your workflow. I like the bulk assign button a lot. You can also just go ahead and assign this way. You could split it evenly across the boxes, that kind of thing. Whatever way you end up liking to create your shipments there, totally up to you. But since we just have one box here, let's go ahead and continue on. And then this is where we basically say, hey, Amazon, we've got our FBA label. We're going to have this label that just printed out. We slap it on the box. We have all our products FN SKU labeled. And then this last step here, we just need to go ahead and accept the shipping charges, which you can see right down there. Generally, it'll be about 60 cents a pound or so. In this case, since it wasn't a very heavy box, the closer to 50 pounds, that 50-pound limit on boxes you can get, the cheaper it's going to be. A lot of times you can get below 60 cents a pound. That's just what it tends to average out to there. So we can accept those charges right there. And then right down there, we'll just go ahead and print out our UPS labels. Again, it's going to give you something that looks like that. And then obviously UPS is just going to come pick that up, or you can schedule a pickup through UPS for them to come to your house and basically take that off. And then you don't have to drive to the UPS store, that kind of thing. I know I was driving to the UPS store for way too long. I didn't know that costs like $6 to $10 depending on where you're located to actually get those UPS pickups taken care of. So I would definitely do that if you want to save some time, basically. So that's how you get those profitable items off to Amazon there. We mentioned a couple of these things. As far as supplies go, you just need some boxes. I usually buy mine from big major retailers. You can get them for $1.50 to $2 each typically. Tape and a tape gun, a scale that can do at least 50 pounds. A lot of times I will use something like these. So we can just say shipping scale, and I'll end up using something that looks like that. That guy right there, had the same one for 6 years now. It's really not too bad. You want shipping labels, which are these big labels that we printed out right here. You can actually get these for free from UPS if you have a UPS account. Otherwise, again, super cheap on Amazon. Product labels, those are the FN SKU labels. So if you even search on Amazon, probably just go FN SKU labels. It'll show you. You can buy a big old pack of them right here. 12,000 labels for 35 bucks right there. Relatively cheap. A laser printer is a really good idea to get out from the jump. If you're really trying to bootstrap it, you don't have to, but it's going to make a big difference. So what you want to do is look for something like a Rollo label printer. That's what I use. This one right here, 200 bucks. There are cheaper ones on Amazon, but you get what you pay for. You're going to have some tech issues, that kind of stuff, if you're using those cheaper, like Chinese knockoff printers, that kind of thing. And having a label printer like this one's just going to save you some time when you're printing out those FBA labels and stuff. Next step in the process, we just have to actually wait for those products to show up at Amazon. If you're using those 2D barcodes through Boxum, that'll be way faster. And then after those products actually show up and are available for sale, you'll see it in your inventory inventory that it says, hey, you got, one available for sale today, you got 5 available for sale the next day, then I'll start lowering my prices down to that buy box price, especially if the buy box price is profitable. In this case, something like 49 bucks. I just go ahead and lower my price down to 49 bucks. The reason I put it above is like I was talking about, for whatever reason, the price shoots way up. I don't want it to check in and I sell it at the old price basically. And then to actually start making sales on these listings, these sales will start rotating between you and the other sellers who have the same price and the same fulfillment speed. So for the most part, that's going to be sellers with, on that listing we were looking at, it's going to be $49 sellers who are also FBA sellers. That's also not always going to be the case though, because down here you can see this seller is shipping it themselves, so ships from them and sold by them. If it was an Amazon FBA seller, it would say ships from Amazon right there. But typically on most listings, it's going to be shared between the FBA sellers who are at the same price. And then the big thing after that is just to start recording everything you possibly can as you start growing. So this is not only going ahead and creating some Google Sheets, which you can do through SellerAmp to just start storing the products that you're finding. So for example, let's say I'm just gonna use like the Christmas Google Sheet, for example. I can click that Christmas button right there, and then that is going to take me to this where it just quickly stores whatever information I want. So if you're, as you're storing products, like if you want to make one that says, I bought this, these were almost good, this was my spreadsheet that I like to look at for items that are going to be good come Christmas time. There's lots of different applications you can keep in mind there. And then also is going to be really valuable when it comes to recording things is just sharing your progress on social media a little bit, right? So there's been some awesome sellers who right from the jump, they're saying, hey, I'm shipping out my first couple boxes today. Here's what I'm running into. Here's some issues I'm facing. Hey, I had this W today. I spent 500 bucks on products. And what that does is it attracts other sellers who are just like you to you on social media. So for example, someone who did a really good job of this in the space is my friend Sam. She started tweeting about what she was up to, just sharing the journey, that kind of thing. And you can see like about a year in, she was already hitting her first $1 million in sales. She's just literally sharing what she's up to, sharing some wins, that kind of stuff, showing people that she's actually making progress on this stuff. And that just draws more Amazon sellers to you. And the people who are going out there and getting in front of Amazon sellers, they just hog all the opportunity. And most of you guys probably aren't willing to do that. You probably feel awkward about doing that. And that's why the people who put themselves out there and let the opportunity come to them end up hogging a lot more opportunity. So I'd really challenge you to do that. So that brings me to the end of my document there. Again, you can download that down below if you want to scroll through that yourself. Also, be sure to check out free trials of Boxem and SellerAmp down below. Those are the tools you'll need to actually find those profitable products like we were looking at, and then go ahead and send those products into Amazon, track your profit, all that kind of stuff. Let me know if you do have any questions or comments about anything we broke down today. Always super happy to answer those for you guys down below in the comments section. But I really appreciate you watching this video, and I will see you next time.